Hello and welcome everyone to Wake Up Legendary. My name is Joanne. I am the Director of Marketing here with Legendary Marketer, and I am fired up for today's guest. I already am loving her energy backstage. Before I bring her on, let's do a few housekeeping items. If you are new here and would like to get a text message of every time we go live, you can, let me pop it up on the screen, text the letters WUL to 813-296-8553. Don't add anything else to it. Sometimes people add in, please add me to the list or subscribe me before these letters, and then it won't actually add you to our text list. So just the letters WUL to 813-296-8553. Of course, if you want any of the awesome legendary swag, you want to throw your own hat when you have a win or a big moment like Dave does during the calls, head over to belegendary.shop. You can buy t-shirts, sweatshirts, phone cases, towels, you name it, it's there. Legendary swag logo on it. So definitely go check that out. So without further ado, please help me, join me with welcoming Jamie to the show. Good morning, Jamie. How are you today?
Morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. This is your first time on, correct?
Yes, it is.
I love it. Thank you for coming on and joining me today. Share with all of us what you do, what you used to do, what you still do. Give us a rundown of who Jamie is and all that good stuff.
Okay, so most people know me as Jamie Lee, especially in the social media world. But like I tell everybody else, I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 14 years, and I work full-time from home. I homeschool my 7-year-old son while working full-time, and I
Wow.
do my side hustles, mainly affiliate marketing, but I also do other side hustles too. So I started in the direct sales world. And I continue to do that in addition to affiliate marketing. So I'm extremely busy. And my motto is usually anybody can do this, because literally I normally don't even get out of my pajamas because I don't have time to get out of my pajamas. So I try to tell everybody that anybody can do this. But I started affiliate marketing back in August of 2022 because I was just looking for something in addition to, the network marketing world, because that was spiraling a little downhill. So I'm like, well, what else can I do out there? So I decided to try affiliate marketing, and I love it and I'm obsessed with it. So I just scream it to the world.
Okay, you unloaded a lot there already. That's amazing. Okay, first of all, heck yeah, you're busy. And,
Very,
and you don't even have time to change out of your PJs some days. But you
you
know
know,
what? It's all about what we prioritize, right?
mhm,
It's all about what
yeah,
we prioritize. And changing out of our PJs is not your priority. Heck, it's not
no,
even mine usually,
no,
quite
no,
honestly. But you get it all handled. It's really comes back down to what choices we make, what we
yeah.
decide to prioritize, what we decide to make important. Um, so how do you prioritize all of that?
Oh, I stopped scrolling. I tell everybody that. I literally stopped scrolling. So
Mhm.
that's what I did 4 years ago. That was my main goal, was how can I get out of debt? How can I do something where I don't have to live paycheck to before paycheck, is what I call it, because usually the paycheck was gone before the paycheck came, and we just couldn't get ahead. And I knew there had to be something else other than going to get another job. Like, everyone's like, oh, you just have to get another job. Like, well, I don't want another job. I want to be with my 3-year-old. So I just said there's got to be something I could do while he's sleeping. And I have done that ever since. I just don't scroll. And I don't watch Netflix unless it's family time, and I don't play
Right.
Candy Crush.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, how much time honestly could the majority of people gain in their day if they just stopped scrolling?
Mhm.
If
I
they
agree.
decided to monetize that time on their social media instead of
Yep.
always just being the consumer, what could happen? What's possible? Now, someone I'm sure is in the comments getting ready to be like, well, then there would be no one to buy anything if everybody just stopped scrolling. But it sounds, it's simple, but it's not easy to do.
Right. Well, you can still
right?
scroll, but scroll with a purpose. You
Right.
can, if you know you're going to shop, get on there to shop. If you know you're looking for something, maybe a way to make money online, get on there, look for that, and get off. Or, that's just my take on it. I'm not saying I never scroll on social media, but I know what I'm doing when I'm scrolling. I'm not sitting there for hours on end, mindlessly scrolling like I used to do every night because I was just angry and bored, and so I was angry at the world, and that's what we do. We're just mindlessly scrolling because we're just so depressed from what's going on in the world. So I figured I would do something about it, and that's what I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, it's really an escape tool.
Mhm.
If you're on social media for an hour, hour and a half, just watching TikToks, we probably need to address that. That is an amazing amount of time to put into yourself in a different way, to grow your knowledge, to build a
Yes.
new business, to start a side hustle, whatever that may be, in something
Mhm.
that you're excited about. Even if you're not necessarily, you don't have to be an expert in something to start promoting it, but you got to be excited about it. Like, I want to learn more about this and I want to share my journey along the way.
Right.
You have to at least be in that frame of mind when picking a niche and an offer and all of that good stuff. Would you agree with that piece?
Oh, 100%. You have to be passionate about it because otherwise people will feel that you're not passionate about it. And I'm extremely passionate about helping people make money online. So wealth is obviously my niche. Been trying to, and even working from home in general, because
Mhm.
that completely changes your outlook on life when you don't have to get up and drive the hour commute, the hour and a half commute, be
Right?
somewhere else all day, then come home. Like ever since I've been able to work from home, just my life has changed completely. And I'm able to homeschool my son now. So I'm with him more, and
Mhm.
it's just very completely different outlook on life. So I talk a lot about working from home in general. So, and I
Yeah,
teach people how they can do that.
I mean, what an awesome journey you've been on. Like, you didn't have the have the commute, go work 10-hour days somewhere in a building. You'd already made that transition of, I'm going to work from home, even though it's a 9 to 5, even though you're an employee, right? It's still from home. It's still remote, which is really amazing. I don't understand how anyone goes into a building these days, but that's just me because
Right.
that's my lifestyle, right?
Yep.
But you've made that transition at that point. And then you went, wow, look at what else I can do. What else is possible? Knowing I can do this, what else is possible? And then you went into network marketing,
Well,
correct?
actually,
Well,
I was still working at the hospital
okay,
when I
okay,
went into network marketing. I actually didn't get a full-time remote job until 2 years ago. So,
okay.
but
So
I
you
was
were doing
always
network
looking.
marketing, and then we got our remote at
Yeah.
home job while
Yes.
still doing network marketing, which we're still doing because you enjoy it,
Hmm.
right? If I read
Yep.
that correctly. So she has her network marketing rolling. And now we've added this to the plate with your affiliate marketing and your other piece where it's your own business. Because as much
Hmm.
as we have some ownership in network marketing, it's not our own business. If they were to close down, you're done, right? But
Right.
with this, you're building your own digital marketing business. I see you have digital products. I
Hmm.
see, you're doing coaching, you're doing a lot of tech stuff, which I love, and setup, which is super cool. And it's really your own. So I guess my next question would be, as much as you love network marketing, what were you missing that made you look to add on something else?
It was more, I was putting a lot of time into it and not really getting out the, I'd like what the time I put into it for network marketing, I wasn't getting the return. So once the pandemic stopped, the network marketing company, like less people were online, and I just felt like less people were interested in the hosting the parties and the buying things and
Mm-hmm.
people bugging you, I guess. So I was looking more for something where I didn't actually have to be there online 24/7. I wanted that passive income where I didn't have to host a party, be there, be present because I wanted to be with my family. So that's why I transitioned. I still run, the network marketing business, but it's it's more in a passive role now.
Right. It's more on your terms of what you need it to be right now.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which is always a beautiful thing. And it's always beautiful to have multiple streams. And then you have multiple streams within your marketing business that you're building right now.
Mm-hmm.
Once you started and you launched, we'll get back to the education piece of learning how to do this. But once you launched, what was the spark that was like, oh, I love this so much more than my network marketing? Like, what was the big difference there?
Because I could make it my own. I could do whatever I wanted with it. If I decided I didn't want to do the make money online and I wanted to do the pet niche because I'm obsessed with my dogs, I could just turn around and do that. But once I learned the skills, I could do anything with it. I could go on there and I could talk about traveling because we travel twice a month. I could go on there and talk about fashion or beauty or homeschooling if I wanted to. Like I could turn it around, and if something wasn't working, I could turn it around to make it something different. And I love that aspect. I'm like, there are endless opportunities with this.
There really are. You can just, once you have the skill set with digital marketing, it's just the sky's the limit, guys. What do you want to do with it? What are you excited about? And I see that you have, you mentioned on your questionnaire how much you love travel. So travel could be a niche that you totally get into. And if you're traveling twice a month, heck, just take B-roll on every one of those trips and start banking them just in case you want to add that niche later on, right?
I know. Well, we do that because we go to the same place a lot. But I travel a lot for work too. So we did a go live last week and we were in Florida and then they had to cancel it. So now I got to fly out on Friday at like 11 o'clock at night. So I'm very busy, very busy. But the travel is nice because we could add that as a niche eventually.
Right. And you can do that easily because you've learned the tech, you've learned the setup, you've learned the strategies that you're putting into practice now. And it all goes back to what are you into and what are you interested right now, which is cool.
Right. And I'm interested in everything, so it's perfect. I can talk about anything.
I love it. So how did you find Legendary? How did you first get turned on to this affiliate marketing, digital marketing thing when you were already so busy and you went, you know what, I'm going to try that? What did you come up with?
So it's actually a really funny story because I was doing my network marketing business that started 4 years ago. I added a second network marketing business to that 2 years after, and that one required me to get TikTok. So I always say that everything happened for a reason because I never actually used TikTok, but I was on it one day looking at, I want to say a dog video of a Great Dane because I wanted to get a Great Dane, and somebody popped up there talking about it. And that was it. I watched the video of Dave and I cried and fell in love, and I'm like, I'm doing this. He's my people. Let's go.
I love it. You were one of the instant, I saw the video and took action girls.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I said, I'm going to do this no matter what. I will do it when Jack is sleeping, who's my son. And that's exactly what I did. I said, what's 15 days?
Right. So did you jump in as fast as you could immediately?
Right away.
You did all the days as fast as you could. You were like, let me get on with my advisor. Let's roll through this. Have you always taken action quickly?
Yes.
That's your personality.
Always. It's just who I am.
Yeah. Like I had like one of my kids, I call it, she's a sit and simmer. She's got to check it all out. She's always been that way. She's going to see how things go. She's going to watch some other people do it. And I'm sure we have a lot of sit and simmers in our audience right now that took 3 months from the first time they saw a video to actually, take some sort of action.
Right.
And then I have another child that's like, I'm just going to do it and ask questions later and see what happens. Right. It's such totally different personalities. And you are like, let's just do it and go in. But you probably were empowered to do that because you have come from network marketing. You have a remote job. You know what that lifestyle is like. So maybe there wasn't that big of a change thinking, oh, how am I going to do a 9 to 5 and this when you were already adding to it? Did you find it easy to add in, or did you have some challenges there?
I struggled a little bit with the time management at first because I was still really, really deep in the network marketing. But then once I saw the potential, I just took off. Like, nope, I'm doing this. And prioritizing and affiliate marketing just took precedence over the network marketing at that point.
Probably because it was more fun for you.
Oh, I loved it. And I still do. I love
Nice.
every bit of it. And if I had more time, I would do it all day long.
Well, eventually you might have that choice, right? Right
Yes.
now, you still have all the things going
I
on,
know.
but as you grow, that's possible. We never know where we're going to end up in 6 months, a
Right.
year, 2 years from now. But with your determination, with your commitment to showing up every day through a busy schedule, I love it. It's so cool. What's
Yeah.
what's your favorite part of this whole journey?
Um, the tech part. I know that sounds
Right.
crazy. Everyone hates it,
Everyone
but
hates tech, but I love that you love tech because that's
I
the nerdy
am.
side of me as well.
Oh, I am a complete nerd. My full-time job is all tech. It's all putting the pieces together because I'm actually a nurse informaticist. So I build all the computer pieces in the background for the doctors and the nurses and the healthcare staff. And so I love to try to figure out how to put the pieces together to make them work. And the first day I got my domain working, I was in the car with my mother and I was like screaming for joy because I'm like, I figured it out. I told my husband, I said, I'm going to figure this out. I don't care how long it takes, but I will figure this out because if I can figure out my real job, I can figure this out. So once I figured it out, it was just, I was running with it.
Now it's a piece of cake. You could do it all day, every day for anyone,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yep.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Do you enjoy doing tech for people? Do you enjoy that part?
Oh, that's my favorite part. I love it.
Do we need to have
Absolutely
a
love it.
conversation later about marketing coaches and things like that in the future?
Yeah. I loved my coach, by the way, my business advisor. She was amazing. She was probably a lot of the reason that I'm just like, I'm going with this. But yeah, no, I absolutely love it. It's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. It's really rare. Rare.
I
I
know.
don't I think you're the first one that I've heard in maybe a year. I'm going to say in the last year on Make It
Wow.
Legendary that said they love the tech. They love the tech.
That's too
And I
funny.
know in the comments the tech is not your favorite. That's okay.
Oh, I hear it all the time from
It's just,
everybody.
but when it's really just a beginning season of it. It's not something you don't live in funnel building unless you choose that to be your business, to do that for other people as a service. It's just not something you live in. It's a very small piece. It's just part of the beginning, to get the beginning setup, to get rolling. And then you really
Right.
don't deal with it a lot. So don't let the tech make you feel like you're drowning and you can't do this, but you can get through that piece to the
Right.
other side. And then it's just content and directing traffic and getting people and to follow you and get eyeballs on your stuff, and then they go into your funnel. But once it's done, it's done. It's not something you got to keep dealing with.
Right. And actually, I had no idea. And I joke all the time because I didn't use a domain, a funnel, or an autoresponder in my other business. I never used that in my other business. I didn't know what any of that was. And when I was literally sitting there when I first started and watching the videos, I was banging my head off at the computer, like, I don't understand what he's talking about. And my husband's like, you can figure it out. Like, he's like, you're a nerd. You love this stuff. You'll figure it out. Just relax a little bit. So I had to just keep watching it over and over. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. But I didn't know what any of that was. And a lot of people say that. They're like, oh, you must have done this before. You must have known what a funnel was. I'm like, I had no idea. I didn't even know these things existed. Right. So I try to tell everybody that. Like, I was just like everybody else. I didn't know what any of it was when I started.
Yeah, I think you just gave a huge tip. You'd be surprised how many students think, well, I already watched that video and I didn't get anything from it. I didn't learn from it that first time I went through. So it's like, well, rewatch it. The lesson is in there. The walkthrough is in there. It's okay to rewatch it. It's okay to rewatch it a third time, a fourth time. It's okay to pause it and rewind it. And what was that again? Let me really get this and understand what's being shared with me. And I love that you're like, quitting's not on the table. That's like been our theme this month. I'm going to figure this out. I know the information is correct. I just need to slow down and go at your pace. And I'm assuming you probably had to walk away at some point, clear your mind, take a break, right?
Yes, I did.
always recommend. Everything becomes clearer when you just take a break if you've been staring at it for so long. And now, knowing that you were frustrated, and now you love it.
Yes. Well, I knew, and I tell everybody that because it's just like starting a new job. If I went into nursing school, the first day of nursing school, and said, oh, okay, we had one lecture. Now I'm going to go in the hospital and start an IV on somebody. Everybody would look at me like I was crazy. Right. So you will never learn something once. Even if you go work at the grocery store, you have like 40 hours of orientation, maybe 3 weeks of orientation, watching somebody else do it, learning it, repeating it for 40 hours. This is no different, except we don't actually put that discipline into it. We don't do it for 40 hours a week. So you have to put the discipline in and you have to watch it. I still, every time I'm in the car, I listen to the challenge. I listen to the days over and over. And I've been doing this since August of 2022 because you pick up something new, just like you pick up something new if you watch a movie a second time. So I tell everybody that on my lives. I tell them if somebody tells me they didn't like the course and they learned nothing, which I tell them, well, how many times did you watch it? Because I didn't learn anything my first day in nursing school either. You have to watch it over and over and put it to action and learn the skills and do it on repeat. And I tell everybody that. So hopefully people are listening.
Mindset going through the first time. Sometimes you're just not open to accepting the new information, or it's too much new information and it's just, so you block it out. You go, I didn't learn anything. It was too much.
Yeah. Well, any new concept is too much, honestly. I didn't know. I mean, when you ride a bike, you get up and you ride the bike and you fall, but you don't quit. You just keep doing it over and over again. Same thing if you want to learn how to rollerblade or ice skate. You do it over and over again until you learn it. You don't just give up.
Yeah. Could you imagine if we watched a video on riding a bike and then expected to be like racing bikes our first time on a bike? That's really what some are trying to say here.
Yeah.
That you would now be an expert, able to compete and race and be, with the top dogs because you watched a video. But it's really, you still got to go and try to go 3 feet. Stay balanced. What about hills? How do you brake? How do you turn? How do you, there's so many different elements to it.
Right. So you go back and learn again. Right. Trial and error.
Yep. Oh, that was a really great way of putting it. And the nurse example is huge. Could you imagine? I just watched a YouTube on doing an IV. We good. Sign me up. Hire me.
It makes me realize that because I was so frustrating in nursing school and I almost quit a million times. So that's what I relate it to. It's like, of course you almost quit. It's hard. If it's going to be worth it, then put the work into it.
Right. Which is so important. And there is that misconception sometimes when people, just before they buy the challenge, they come into the 15-day challenge and they just think they paid the $7 and now everything magical will happen without actually having to put in the work. And it's not really, I wouldn't even call this a passive business. I don't call digital marketing passive. I know a lot of people call it. I know you had mentioned that word earlier, but I don't call it passive because you got to show up to it every day or it won't work. You have to be creating content. You have to be adding to your email responder. You have to be answering DMs when they come in. Can you do it from the beach at 9 p.m. if you want to, or by a pool at the resort in Tahiti? Yep, you absolutely can. but you still have to show up somehow. Would you agree, or what comes up to you when you hear that?
No, I agree. I consider it more passive only because I definitely relate it to the network marketing business. But where network marketing, I had to be sitting at my computer for the parties, for the hosting, for the recruiting and doing one-on-ones. But this I consider more passive because I can sit here on a Sunday and create all my content and schedule it for the week and schedule my emails. Like I knew I was going to be away last week, so I scheduled out my email broadcasts for the whole week. And then I was able to just respond when I could. So that's how I consider it more passive. And the emails are going out 24/7, and my videos are still playing while I'm at work all day. So that's what I love about it.
Oh, same. Because it's the automations that just make your life easier. It's learning the automations that are involved. And that's what causes you to get, a sale of a digital product or a commission from an affiliate offer randomly, because you had the knowledge to set up all those automations and you were creating this beautiful working machine.
Yes.
Right? But we still had to do the work to put it in. We still had to take the time to connect with our audience, to create the videos. I love that you mentioned batching. I think that's huge when you know you're going to be out of service or be slammed for the week with limited time, but you know you got 2 hours on a Sunday. Film as much as you possibly can. And then all you got to do is hit post during the week. Heck, there's even schedulers out there. And scheduling something through a third party is better than not showing up at all.
Exactly.
It's just better to show up and to just skip it because the week was busy. And now it's been 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, and you haven't had a video. And now you're starting at square one again. And that's what's really hard for people to gain that momentum at the beginning of showing up when nobody's watching. And to keep showing up. How did you show up before you really had that following and that connection growing with your audience?
I started on TikTok, and my biggest goal was obviously to get to the 1,000 followers because I wanted to go live because I like to talk. And every day, if I got one follower, I would like throw a party. So I just kept posting videos knowing that somebody was going to watch something, even if they didn't like it or comment on it or follow afterwards. I just changed my approach. And then once I remember counting down in the car, like I have 555, I have 557, and my husband thought it was crazy. But then as soon as I got to that 1,000, it was just my first couple of lives, there might have been 2 people on them.
Right.
But if you keep doing it, people show up. I remember having 600 people on a live once. And then there's a day that I'll have 30 people on a live. So it's just show up anyways. Those 30 people might be the 30 people that are really interested in what you're talking about. You could have 600 people and 550 of them don't care. They just stopped it and it's sitting on their desk for all you know. So that's just how I feel about it.
If you have 2 people on and one of them actually takes action, I mean, how stoked are you to get an alert for that commission or an alert that they bought one of your digital products?
Right.
I mean, if it just happened randomly, you'd be so excited and pumped. And now you did it just having a conversation with somebody through a social media platform on a live video, and they took action. And if you can do it with 1, you can do it with 5, you can do it with 10, you can do it with 100.
Absolutely.
And for a while there, everyone was going live, and now not as much. There's still a lot of live going on, but it's not like every person. There's a lot that have moved away from that. But I love that you go live, and I love that you love going live. What's your favorite part of the going live experience?
I just like talking to the people. I like when they get excited in the comments and they're interested and it connects for them. There's just so many people that I used to be a nursing instructor, so I like to break things down. I like to teach. So when I break it down in a way that makes sense and it clicks for them, they're interested and they're intrigued and they get all excited. And then there's like millions of questions, and I love that because then I'm able to respond and they get me excited. So I really like to talk about it because it's hard to get that across so many videos. Sometimes if I know I can't go live, I'll just break up what I'm going to say in my live into little videos. But I feel like on a live, I can get it all out.
Do it all and just throw it all out there. So your first live, let's go through it. You hit your 1,000 followers It's time to go live. Did you do a big planning session beforehand? Did you practice? Were you in the mirror? Or you just hit the live button and let's see what happens?
Yep, I just hit the live button. Said, let's see what happens. I don't care. And I just talked. I don't even know what I talked about my first live, really. I think I just talked about my story a little bit. And just people relate. They once they relate, they're hooked. They're just like, oh, okay, I can completely relate to the paycheck before paycheck.
How long were you live the first time?
Oh, probably maybe 5 minutes. Not very long. Because there was a lot of people on. But then I just kept saying, I'm going to go live. I go live every night. And that's what I started with. I'm like, I go live every night at 10 o'clock because that's when my kid is sleeping. And that's the only time I have in my day. And so if you are interested in, watching my live, make sure you hit that follow button and TikTok will notify you. So then I'd get the followers. I'd get 5 followers per session, and then there's sessions where I'd get 100 followers per session, and that's kind of how I grew my following pretty quickly once I started going live.
I love it. Do you feel like every time you went live, you committed to the schedule, you didn't care the number that were joining you, that you were going to go live, this is what you're going to do? How did it get? Did you end up making them a lot longer fairly quickly, or was the first few weeks, first month only about 5 or 10 minutes? Or did they start to extend and get a lot easier very quickly?
Yeah, they ended up being pretty long. I would probably say 30 minutes. There's some of them were 45 minutes to an hour. It just depends on who's on, who's asking questions, because of course I'd go through like the topics. At that point, I knew what I was going to talk about. But in between I'd have questions. So then I'd stop and I'd answer the questions and then I'd get right back to it. So it ended up going a little bit longer.
Do you ever have like just negative Nancy's on your hop in your lives?
Oh yeah, I block them right away. I said, I don't have time for negativity, so I blocked them. But actually yesterday I got kicked off of my live and had to do an appeal because somebody reported me for some reason. I was cooking dinner. I wasn't even doing anything crazy. So, but it's all good. I can go live again now. But I'm like, that's crazy. I literally was cooking dinner and just talking. So
wild. That's TikTok for you with the user reporting issue that they have.
Yeah. It's all good. We're good now. But I had so many people message me. They're like, what happened? I wanted to finish watching. So I had emails and I had to respond to everybody. So, but
that's also exciting because people were like, they're hungry for your connection. And how cool is that you've built up already to this point of your business where they're really concerned that their live with you has gone away. They look forward to it. They schedule it in to their day. Instead of watching Netflix, they're joining Jamie live, which is pretty cool to have built that trust with your audience. Would you say?
Yeah. I love it.
What advice would you give someone starting out to start cultivating that trust, to start building that trust?
Don't be fake. Just be yourself. I get more interaction and more views after I get off of the treadmill and just throw my hat on. And I'm still in my workout clothes and just talking. I usually go live when I'm cooking dinner because I'm busy. Normally I burn dinner while I'm live because I always tell everybody it's going to be a quick live. And then questions come and it goes crazy and then I burn my food. So they're pretty used to that. But they expect it and they always ask, they're like, where's your dogs? Because my dogs are always on my live. So just be yourself. Like, don't pretend to be somebody else. Don't, just be yourself. I'm messy. My house is a disaster. I am a hot mess. And I tell people that you don't have to be organized to do this. You don't have to be perfect. Just do it. So
if you're looking for perfect, go find Susie Perfect Pinterest on a different channel. This is me. This is my beautiful, amazing, crazy mess with my dogs and my bird dinner. And let's chat and have some fun. And it's just as authentic as can be. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And it's not being afraid to share those pieces of you because that's just who you are. And so you're going to attract people that feel comfortable around that. They're like, oh, she gets me. She's not trying to pretend to be somebody she's not. She's not putting on an act. It's not a show. It's not Jamie Lee being perfect. It's just
No.
Jamie Lee being Jamie Lee making dinner. And
Yeah.
let's see if she burns it. And I bet you have people hopping on your live just to see if you burn dinner again.
Probably, because I love to cook too. So when everybody knows that about me, I usually have blue hair, blue highlights. Everyone knows I love blue. So it's just, you just be yourself. If I came on here and told everybody my house was organized, all my laundry was put away the second it got out of the dryer, and I have dinner on the table every day, even though I work 9 to 5 and homeschool my son, they would look at me like I was nuts.
Right.
So prioritize. My house is a disaster and I don't care.
Right. You're like, but you're running multiple businesses. You're running a 9 to 5. You're homeschooling, and you have a little one on top of homeschool, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I just homeschool my 7-year-old.
Okay.
I just got one.
Okay, but I mean, you're just like a hair busy, just a little bit.
My husband has 2 businesses too, so we alternate our schedules. So like he had to bring him to piano lessons today so that I was able to get my meetings done. We just literally, and then now my husband's out working on his business because it's after hours and he had to stop. And so yeah, we make it work.
I love that. Was he supportive when you're like, so I'm going to start this digital marketing thing on top of everything else? And he was just like, cool, go for it? Or was there some form of conversation that happened?
No, he's always been supportive. He's like, you can do whatever you put your mind to, do it. I'm like, okay. That was it. We worked with it.
And like you shared earlier with the tech, he's like, you can figure it out. Let's go figure it out.
Yeah, he was my biggest supporter when it came to it. He's like, if you know you can do this, you can build. I mean, it looks like NASA on my office. I'm actually in my office. I've got like 3 computer screens. That's what I do for a living. He's like, you'll figure it out. I promise. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll figure it out.
And you did. And you did.
And I did. And I love it. And now that's literally my specialty. That's my passion now, is the tech part, the hardest part when I was starting.
Oh, that's so cool. What do you think, beyond the tech piece, what has changed most about you from before you added in your own business with digital marketing to now? What's the biggest change you've seen in yourself?
I don't know. I feel happier. I just feel more motivated. Like there's so much more out there. I mean, I wish I had more time, but I'm just extremely motivated. I just push for more and more and more. And normally I'm up till 2 a.m. because I'm so excited about what I find, and I'm up at night thinking about ideas for content creation. And so I guess the biggest thing is I don't sleep because I'm just so excited.
Well, please get some sleep in there. We definitely still need to sleep.
I have a notebook now. I write everything down before I go to bed so that I don't forget what I'm thinking about.
Well, that helps me actually get to sleep. If I just can write it all down, whatever's churning in my head, all the ideas and brainstorming that likes to happen right as I want to go to bed, then I can sleep because I'm like, okay, I got it out. It's on paper. I can review it in the morning and we'll go from there.
That's me. That's what I have to do.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. So you did the challenge. Did you do the blueprints or no?
I did, but I didn't do them at first. So that was actually the only thing my husband and I had a conversation about, was because I'm like, I think I could figure this out. And I was a little iffy about it at first. And then he's like, you know what? You've been talking about this for a month now. And I think that you should do it because I know how much you want to do it. And I said, okay. And I called up my business advisor and I'm like, what do I have to do now to do it? Because I missed the window. So, and I did.
Wow. So what did you gain? What were you missing from it in that time period?
I had set up a lot of the tech part, but I was missing the importance. I was missing the why behind everything. Like I knew I could like watch a video and figure it out on my own, but I didn't understand why they were connecting the way they were. And it wasn't until I was able to do the blueprints that I realized that. And then I realized which platform I wanted to really run with after, because they gave me all of the details of every single platform. And I loved that piece of it. And then obviously, eventually I got the coaching piece of it.
Right. Very cool. I love that. I always like to ask that question just because and I love that you did it on your own time.
Mhm.
And it's okay to, you don't have to, yeah, there's a special 48-hour offer on day 5. You don't have to take it then. You
Right.
know, you can still get the affiliate marketing business blueprint,
Mhm.
with all of those bonuses separately. But you did it on your time and what worked for you. And I think that's what's really important is everyone has their own journey, their own timeline. And that was what fit for you and worked for
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
And
I
you
did have
found
to
out
go
it was
back and reset things up because I messed them up. But it was okay. I learned from my mistake. I'm like, oh, that's why I was should have done it first. But
right.
it worked out.
Yeah, definitely. And then you were also able, like, hey, I'm going to try and figure this out without that because the
Mhm.
15-day challenge gives you that base that you can do that. And after a month, you're like, you know what? I probably need to see what that is. Check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. I saw the potential with affiliate marketing. So I'm like, I'm going all in.
Right. I
I can
really
do this.
like this. I want to learn more. I'm really going to go all in. Um, that's such a
Yeah.
cool story, actually.
But
I
I
love,
figured I spent $100,000 on my master's degree in nursing, which was another just optional degree for me, but I wanted it. So,
Mhm.
like, why not do this? It's not going to kill me. I think it's going to help me way more than my $100,000 degree did, but
Right, right.
that's besides the point. So that's why I'm like, I'm going to do it.
I love it. What's your advice for somebody starting the challenge right now?
Don't give up. Watch it again and again and again, and take notes.
Mm.
And if you have to watch a YouTube video on what they're talking about while you're learning about it, do it. That's what I tell everybody because you won't really, you can watch it all you want, but until you're actually in there, taking action and doing it, you're not
Yeah.
going to learn.
Yeah, I mean, back to using the bicycle. You can watch somebody else ride a bike all day long, but until you actually get on one and try it, it just isn't going to click.
Right.
And that's the reality with all of these. Until you get into the software and start playing with funnels and playing with the autoresponder and getting on TikTok and playing with editing a video, it's not going to click
Yeah.
until you're in it. And then as you gain those little pieces of beginning knowledge, now you're open to the next layer of knowledge, the next layer of strategy, because you weren't there yet. It's hard to
Mhm.
understand step 5 if you don't understand step 1 yet.
Exactly. It's just like life.
Yeah. And so going through that, all of a sudden you'll be like the second time you're going to grab step 2 and 3. And the third
Hmm.
time you're going to grab step 4 and 5. That was there all the time, but you just didn't hear it because you still needed to learn those steps beforehand to be able to
Right.
grasp the concepts. Yeah, I get that. That's really good advice. And I love that you are, you're like my new live expert, going live expert. That's what I'm going to call you, Jamie.
I just tell people, I'm like, you don't have to show your face, you don't have to go live, but I don't care what I look like, and I don't care if I go live. So, and that's just how I am. That's who I am. If you don't like me, I'll just block you. I don't care. Don't watch.
Right. Yeah, move on. And it sounds so simple, but it's so
I know.
hard. It's so hard. I know people are like, I wish I had the confidence Jamie has. Right?
It took me a while. It did. My very first live I ever did was my network marketing business. And I was like, oh, I'm so nervous. My face was all red because I was breaking out in hives and just like, well, might as well do it and get it over with because
Mhm.
that's just who I am.
Well, and what else is cool, if everyone's really listening to Jamie's story, is this wasn't her first thing. She's done remote work. You are a network marketer for many years before you started, digital marketing. Um, and there are a lot of lessons along the way. And instead of going, oh, I'm done with that, and I'm turning my face, and I don't want to even remember anything from it, you went, what did I learn from that experience? And what can I carry with me to make this one even stronger, better, brighter, all of that? You've really gathered through experience on your journey, which is really cool. And I think a lot of times we close a door and we start over. And you're like, nope, just keep walking through it to new opportunity
Yep.
and bring the knowledge I've learned, the mistakes, the wins, and all of it with me through the next open door. Would you
Absolutely.
agree at my assessment of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's all the same, whether it's nursing or when you're working with customer service, network marketing, affiliate marketing, it's you are making relationships, you are being you, and that's one skill that I've just brought with me from every career I've ever had, every side hustle I've ever had. And I just keep adding to it.
Yeah, I love it. So cool. Well, you definitely need to come back. I want updates, and I'm going to chat with you. I'm going to send you an email because
Okay.
I really want to hear more about your story and where you're headed. And then you got to come back and meet Dave also. So,
Absolutely. Dave's the reason I started this, so
yeah, he would love to meet you. I know he would. And we'll definitely have to have you back on here in the next couple months. Okay.
okay, sounds great.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, please go give Jamie a follow on Instagram. I have it up on the screen right now at Side Hustle with Jamie Lee. All connected, no spaces, no hyphens. Side Hustle with Jamie Lee. And then if you would like to go follow her on TikTok and Facebook, all you need to do is search Makin without a G, Making Money with Jamie Lee, which I love. All connected. So Makin and then Money with Jamie Lee. Jamie is spelled Jamie. Lee, Lee. Making Money with Jamie Lee on TikTok and Facebook, and then Side Hustle with Jamie Lee on Instagram. Go give her a follow, comment, let her know that you saw her interview on Wake Up Legendary, and go give her some love and all of that good stuff. If you are new here and you are curious about our 15-day challenge, you're ready to enroll in the blueprint, or you want to join us at our next mastermind, which we just ended our Orlando one. Our next one is almost at capacity for June, which is awesome. And we'll be in New Orleans. I'm so excited for this event. So if you would like to get one of those last seats in our New Orleans June event, you can also upgrade to the mastermind package here at legendarymarketer.com/enroll. Of course, if you have any questions about any of our products, you can reach out to support. If you already are assigned an advisor and chose to be with an advisor, you have that choice to go through it self-led or with an advisor. You can ask questions to them. Otherwise, reach out to support with your questions and head on over to legendarymarketer.com/enroll. All right, Dave is back tomorrow with another episode. As always, stay legendary. Peace.